Okay, we are live now.
Okay.
So we will wait for 2 minutes so that a few more people can join.
Vishu,
Okay. Yes, sir.
uh, you are checking on YouTube. So if anything goes wrong, if my
Yes.
voice is not clear, you better
Okay.
notify me. Okay.
I'm just checking that.
Fine.
Okay, we are getting audience. Okay, let's start the event. Hello, everyone. I am Vishu. First of all, thanks for joining in. Hope you guys are safe at home. So we are back again with another event, and today we are going to talk about cloud computing and the path to AWS certification. Talking about today's speakers, we have Pranav Chaturvedi sir, our DevOps lead, and Vasali Rotman, our Oman in Tech lead. So I will not waste much of your time and give the stage to our speakers. Also, if you have any doubts or queries related to today's event, you can write them down in the comment box, and we will be more than happy to help you. Over to you, sir.
Thanks, Vishu. Uh, Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Pranav Chaturvedi. I am a DevOps and Cloud Lead in DSC OIST. In this session, we will discuss about roadmap to cloud computing, basics of cloud computing, and we will also get to know about the pathway to AWS certification by AWS Cloud Practitioner Vaishali Rao. So let's start this event. First of all, to start with, what is cloud computing? Uh, a very, a very, in a simple words, cloud computing is a delivery of computing services, including servers, storage, databases, networking, software, analytics, and intelligence over the internet. The cloud offers very faster innovation, flexible resources, and economies of scale. You can typically pay for only the cloud services you use, helping lower your operational costs, run your infrastructure more efficiently, and scale as your business needs change. So, as you can see from the very basic definition of cloud computing, it's very flexible to use. You can if you are working as a startup, if you open a startup, you have to set up your infrastructure like uh, physical computers and downloading the softwares in that and setting up data centers, databases, all that stuff. It takes a lot of time. So in cloud, by just in one click, you can, and in few minutes, you can do all that stuff very easily. So that's why every startup, every big company, MNCs are using cloud today. Everything we use on the internet probably is running on cloud nowadays. So let me first talk about the benefits of cloud computing, why you should step in, and what are the benefits of cloud computing. So cloud computing is a big shift from traditional web businesses. As I explained in few minutes back, that every company, every MNC startup is using nowadays. Uh, Thinking about IT resources, here are some common reasons organizations are turning to cloud computing. First is cost. So, cloud computing eliminates the capital expense of buying hardware and software and setting up on site data centers. The racks of servers, huge servers, and the electricity required to run all this infrastructure and IT experts to manage all the infrastructure. You, your cost is getting reduced very much. Next is speed. Uh, Most cloud computing servers are provided self service on demand. So even vast amounts of computing resources can be provisioned in minutes, typically with just a few mouse clicks, giving businesses a lot of flexibility. So it's very fast, guys. As if you step into any of the cloud services providers, we can take example of Google Cloud Platform. By just in few minutes, you can make your for example, if you have to set up your Linux terminal. So in if you do it the other way, in a simple, you have to download this software, then configure it and do the also. It takes not minutes. It typically case takes hours, because I have done many times in my laptop. So by when I just shifted to cloud, it takes only hardly 1 minute only to set up all the Linux environment I want, and I can do run my any software command easily on that Linux terminal. So next thing is global scale. So it's one of the benefits in cloud computing that includes the ability to scale elastically. In cloud, that means delivering the right amount of IT resources. Suppose I can, if we have to explain this, that a startup receives the big project from a client. So the client requires ask for this much amount of resources and product that needs to be delivered. So in cloud, the exact amount of resources you can use, nothing more, nothing less. Uh, Next is productivity. In this, on-site data centers typically require a lot of hardware setup, software patching, and other time-consuming, as I said few minutes back, and IT tasks. So cloud computing removes the need for many of these tasks. So IT teams can spend more time on achieving more important business goals and outputs more efficiently. Next is performance. The biggest cloud computing services run on a worldwide network of service secure data centers, which are regularly upgraded to the latest generation of fast and efficiently computing hardware. Next is reliability. So most of many of the MNCs and startups are working on cloud. So lot of private data and secret information that need not to be shared to anyone and others in the world. So cloud service providers ensures that very much that cloud computing makes the data backup. Uh, uh, it includes recovery and business continuity easier and less expensive. And the last, and not, but it's very important for uh, which ensures security. Many cloud providers offers a broad set of policies, technologies, and control that strengthen your security posture overall, in helping protect your data of your infrastructure from potential threats. So if you are running your startup big or a big company using cloud, so you know these companies have a lot of secret data and informative data that if that cannot be shared to the world. So cloud and and so cloud computing ensures that it's very private. You can also run your private cloud in these cloud providers that we'll discuss in upcoming slides. How you can run your private cloud in these cloud providers so that your work and your data is very private and nobody gets to see or no information gets leaked. So next topic is types of cloud computing. So uh, as you know, not all clouds are same, and not one type of cloud computing is right for everyone. So there are several different models, types, and services have evolved to help offer the right solution for your needs. So first cloud type of the cloud is public cloud. A public cloud are owned and operated by third-party cloud service providers, which deliver their computing resources like servers, storage over the internet. Google Cloud Platform is the example of a public cloud. We have many more examples such as AWS, Amazon Web Service, and Microsoft Azure. With a public cloud, all hardware, software, and other supporting infrastructure is owned and managed by the cloud provider. You can access these services and manage your account using a web browser. So it's that easy to use a public cloud, and you can just run your all services through by on your laptop. Huge infrastructure you can just set up on your web browser, and you can run easily on that. Next type of cloud is private cloud. Private cloud refers to cloud computing resources used exclusively by a single business or organization. Private cloud can be physically located on the company's on-site data center. Some companies also pay a third-party service providers to host their private cloud, uh, like GCP, AWS, Microsoft Azure. These cloud service providers also offer private cloud. Private cloud is one in which the services and infrastructure are maintained on a private network. So that your data, if you have to work on a very critical and crucial data that need not to be shared, you can work on a private network so that it so that no information or no third person can access that data information on and your work. Next type of the cloud is hybrid cloud. Hybrid cloud is nowadays very popular in the IT industry. Many companies are opting to use hybrid cloud because hybrid clouds combine public and private clouds bound together by technology that allows data and applications to be shared between by allowing data and applications to move between private and public clouds. A hybrid cloud gives your business greater flexibility, more deployment options, and also helps to optimize your existing infrastructure, security, and compliance. So many companies like Netflix, Spotify, and many popular companies, IT companies like Google, Microsoft, Amazon are also working on hybrid cloud, and one of the main product of Google, that is Gmail, is also now working on hybrid cloud. So that because it's proved very efficiently, and as I told in while explaining that it offers greater flexibility, more deployment options, and helps to optimize your existing infrastructure, security, and compliance. So types of cloud services. These are the most cloud computing services fall into four broad categories: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, serverless, and software as a service. These are sometimes called the cloud computing stack because they build on top of the another. We'll see how it is called a cloud computing stack in upcoming slides. So first is infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure as a service, IaaS, is an instant computing infrastructure provisioned and managed over the internet. IaaS quickly scales up and down with demand, letting you play only for what you use. So it is a very use. So as you can see, it's a very useful use if you're using infrastructure as a service because you can easily scale up and down according to your company demands, and you have to pay only for what you are using, nothing more, nothing less. It helps you avoid the expense and complexity of buying and managing your own physical servers and other data infrastructure. Each resource is offered as a separate service component, and you only need to rent a particular one for as long as you need it. So this is the one of the type of cloud services you can use. Another one is platform as a service. Platform as a service refers to cloud computing services that supply an on-demand environment for developing, testing, delivering, and managing software application. So, if you're working on a software, and suppose you're developing any software in your company, so you have a software developer has to go all these stages like developing, testing, delivering, and managing software applications. So he can do that easily on a cloud, because if he has to set up all that on his system, so as I told that it requires a lot of infrastructure uh, setup time, and you have to set up go and install that, and it takes a lot of time to do that. So in these cloud service providers offers platform as a service, so through which you can do that easily. uh, Platform as a service designed to make it easier for developers to quickly create web or mobile apps without worrying about setting up or managing the underlying infrastructure or service, servers, storage, network, databases need for development. So, as a software developer, if we consider a full stack developer, you have to set up databases, you have to set up server storage, you have to work on back end, front end, all that stuff. You can just do it easy, everything on cloud service providers. And platform as a service will help, is the in these cloud service providers will help you to do that easily. Next is serverless computing. uh, it is the it is basically overlapping with the platform as a service, because it focuses on building app functionality without spending time continually managing the servers and infrastructure required to do so. The cloud provider handles the setup, capacity planning, and server management for you. And serverless architectures are highly scalable and event driven, only using resources which when a specific function or trigger occurs. I hope that is clear. Next is software as a service. So, software as a service is a method for delivering software applications over the internet, like, for example, Gmail, Google Maps, etc., on demand, and typically on subscription basis. With software as a service, cloud providers host and manage the software application and underlying infrastructure, and handle any maintenance like software upgrades, security patching. Excuse me. Users connect to application over the internet, usually with a web browser on their phone, tablet, or PC. So, as I told in few minutes back, that if you are probably accessing some website, for example, Gmail on your web browser or your phone, so you are you may not know that it's actually working whole thing on cloud. It actually all set up on the cloud. So uh, these cloud providers host and manage the software application as it said, and and you get the software upgrades on a regular basis on your phone, and also on the browser it automatically upgrades, and security patching. So in the last line, it's also told our users connect to the application over the internet, usually with a web browser on their phone, tablet, or PC. So these applications are basically running, most of the application nowadays are basically running on the cloud, uh, because it's very easy and very efficient. So this is was the cloud computing stack which I was talking about, of the cloud services. First, in the bottom you can see infrastructure as a service. Above that it's a platform as a service, and on the top it is software as a service. It is also known as it is also known as cloud computing pyramid. In infrastructure as a service, you can see AWS Elastic Compute Cloud, EC2, Microsoft Azure, Google Compute Engine. These are the things you run on a infrastructure as a service, because these things help to set up your infrastructure. Like, for example, you have to set up a Linux terminal, which comes under infrastructure. You have to set up a Kubernetes terminal, which comes under uh, infrastructure service. You have to set up a Docker or uh, any other software which comes as a infrastructure for your product. These come under infrastructure service, and the IT administrator usually work on these infrastructure. They usually set up and work on that in these infrastructures. Next is platform as a service. These are examples of platform as a service are Heroku, AWS Elastic, Beanstalk, and Google App Engine. Usually, software developers work on platform as a service, and in the last is software as a service, which examples are Gmail, Trello, Salesforce, CRM, Eventpro, Office 365, and Google Docs. As you can see, these are all softwares which are provided by the respective companies for the users to use. So these are basically used by one common man users, and uh, these all work on cloud. And as you can see in the right, one line is given which says less and more control. So these software as a service, uh, end users have very less control to work on these software, because you have the basic features which are required to do your work, but you cannot work on cannot have access or control to the internal features. These internal controls only have the access to the IT administrators mostly, which who are working in the respective companies. And in as you can see in the last, that administrators of the respective companies or any startup have the more control and flexibility to work and have more to work. And because as you can see that in I've told in my previous slides that you have to control the scaling up and down according to the client's requirement. You have to set up all the storage databases, and you have to do many other tasks in IT industry that only administrators have the access to. And software developers in the middle have also most of the access to these things, but also they have some less access. They have not very much access to all the things in this in their respective companies. Though have they cannot work on more on such things. Next is uses of cloud computing. So you are probably using cloud computing right now. As I said, if you are you basically use Gmail and Google Docs and YouTube, which all work on cloud and you use on your daily basis. So even if you don't realize it, if you use an online service to send email, edit documents, watch movies or TV, listen to music, play games, or store pictures as a file, it's likely that cloud computing is making it all possible behind the scenes. Here are a few examples of what is possible today of with cloud services from a cloud provider. So basically, in the cloud computing, you can do all the major things that you first have in the that you have to do in an IT industry. That you can do all such things on a cloud service providers, like create cloud native applications, deliver software on demand, store and backup and recover data, test and build applications, stream audio and video, analyze data. So many things are being covered under cloud computing. And once you access the console of cloud service providers like Google Cloud Platform and AWS, you see many options, many huge list of options that you can do on this cloud service providers with ease. So when I first switched into cloud computing, cloud service providers, I saw a whole list of these services, and I was surprised that we can do all such things with very ease. I mean, you can just you have to set up, you have to give few clicks, and in just 1 to 5 minutes, your all work is done, and you are ready to go and work on them. So, if you say anything that is, you have to build software, you can do on cloud. You have to deliver any application, you can do on cloud. You have to work on any database, network storage, on or any backend work you can do on cloud. Any front end work you can do on cloud. It is you have to host any website on your server, or you have to create any server. You can do it very easily on the cloud. So nowadays, almost everything is possible on cloud in cloud computing. So now I welcome Vaishali Rao to give a pathway to AWS certification and help to know that how you can get AWS certified, because it's a very valuable certification in the cloud computing market. Over to you, Vishal.
Thank you, Pranav. So that was a brief explanation of cloud computing. Now I'll be taking over to Amazon Web Services. So you all might have heard of this buzzword, but what is it? Why is it such a big deal? And how big of a deal is it in actual? So almost 1 in 3 sites that you visit on the internet uses AWS services somehow. And chances are you're already using the AWS network. If you use Netflix or Twitch, Reddit, Slack, these all are AWS customers. So you are riding on the AWS network. AWS is a secure cloud service platform offering compute power, database, storage, content delivery, and other functionalities to help businesses scale and grow. It's the world's most comprehensive and broadly adopted cloud platform, offering over 200 fully featured services from data centers globally. And millions of customers, including the fastest growing startups, your large enterprises, are or your leading government agencies. These all are using AWS to lower their cost, to become more agile, and most importantly, to innovate faster. And its use cases ranges from manufacturing organization, architecture consulting, to media company and large enterprises. And to mention some of the features of AWS, these are the total cost of ownership is very low compared to any private server. Then AWS also offers us centralized billing and management system, and it allows us to deploy our application in multiple regions around the world with just a few clicks. So now you might get a question that, okay, we understand it is big, but is there any requirement to get certified, or is there any need of such people who know about cloud and AWS or any other cloud provider? So as was mentioned by Pranav, that cloud is basically someone else's computer, and cloud service providers have ton of servers and computers, and they're going to let us use them, but in return we just have to pay them. So a ton of companies did that, and they are currently doing that. Instead of buying their own servers, which can cost them a lot, they are basically renting these servers. So more and more companies are moving their stuff to the cloud, and this is why they need skilled IT people who can help them to move their stuff to the cloud. And once it's there, they need help managing it. Then on to the next slide, we have the AWS certifications, all the AWS certifications that are available. These are levels and the certifications laid down by the AWS itself. So on the foundational level, we have the Cloud Practitioner one, which is the most basic one, and it needs around 6 months of fundamental AWS cloud and industry knowledge. Then on to the next level, we have the associate one, which has around 3 certifications: the Solutions Architect Associate, the SysOps Admin Associate, and the Developer Associate. And it requires around 1 year of experience solving problems and implementing solutions using the AWS cloud. Then on to the third level, we have the professional one, which requires 2 years of comprehensive experience in designing, operating, and troubleshooting solutions using their cloud. which has two certifications in them, which is the Solutions Architect Professional one and the DevOps Engineer Professional one. Then AWS has also laid down a specialty level wherein it consists of 5 certifications. These are from advanced networking to big data, security, machine learning, and Alexa skill builder. So basically, all the big words are out there and they have certifications on them. So now coming on to the first learning path, we have the Cloud Practitioner one. So this is a very good start for AWS because in this you're going to learn a lot about billing. So you don't have to worry about getting overbilled or overbilled using the platform while you practice on it. You're going to get broad knowledge across multiple AWS services, and it's going to pave the way for the associate certification, such as the Solutions Architect one. So basically, who is this certification for? So the CCP, that is the Cloud Certification Certified Professional, Certified Practitioner, sorry, is all about the AWS foundational knowledge. What that means is that it can show that you know how to poke around and use the AWS console and you know the general offerings offered by AWS. It's like a light version of the architect certification. But the practitioner one has some very unique offerings which no other certification on AWS has, which is they have a strong focus on billing and business centric concepts. But let me get this clear to you that you won't get a job by just taking this examination or by just clearing this certification because it is not a gilded title. But if you're a graduate, then it would be a good indication that yes, you're a little bit familiar with AWS. You know how to poke around the AWS console. So what that means is, so what happens here is, since it's not a gilded title, many of us think that, okay, since it's not going to help us in any job sort of thing, so we'll just avoid it or we'll skip it. But I'm going to tell you that this is not what you should do. You should actually go get the CCP because the Cloud Practitioner one is going to help you build confidence. It's a very easy win because it's the easiest certification and the most inexpensive one among the others that the AWS offers. And for taking this examination, you have two options, either by going to a test center in person or through a proctored exam. And for this, we have two center networks. We have the PSI and the Pearson View. Pearson View is for the proctored exam. So before, what happened was, before, the only way you can take this exam was to go in person to a test center and take the exam over there. But now that Pearson View is part of AWS, it's offering the exam through their network, and they are known for their proctored exams. So you can just sign up and schedule an online exam through a webcam. You will take the exam, and somebody is going to watch you while you take that exam to make sure that you're not cheating. Now, the situation that we are in right now, it's very easy to get certified and as well as convenient because you can take it at the convenience of your own home. Now, it takes around 90 minutes. 90 minutes is the time allotted for you to take this exam, and it doesn't take that long actually. You can get it done under an hour, but because it's not a hard certification. And at the end, you should keep time to just review your questions. It takes also the fees, the amount to take this examination is around 9,000 rupees for the Cloud Practitioner one. But if for the other parts for the other certifications, it's like if you clear the Cloud Practitioner one, they will give you a code, which is a discount coupon type. You can take that code and you can apply it for the next level certification. So there will be a cut in cost for the next level of certifications that you want to take. But yeah, the practitioner one is the most cheap one in the other certification. Apart from other, this is the cheapest one. Now, talking about the questions, there are about 65 questions, and the passing score is 70%. And when you get the certification, it's gonna be valid for 3 years. And for the exam guide, you can go through the training and certification website of AWS, and you can schedule your exam as well as go through the exam guide and sample questions that are provided by AWS. And the link to that would be provided to you in the comment section. So in that link, if you go, you can you can schedule an exam if you're ready with your if you're ready with everything. If you have studied, you can just go and schedule your exam. Also, they have their exam guides as well as practice exams that you can take to check whether you're ready for the certification or not, along with some sample questions that they have provided. And if in case you need some training, they also have a section for classroom as well as digital training that they provide. You can also go through that. Then AWS has also given some white papers out there. For the practitioner one, there are around 3 white papers that I think are there. That the white papers would be there in the link that's provided to you. You can go through these white papers. I know the white papers are quite boring, and nowadays we go through just videos and we are ready. It's okay, we should learn from the videos, that's okay. But I recommend that once you're ready with everything that you want to learn, you should at least go through these white papers before taking the examination. It's gonna be helpful. So going on to the next path that we have, it's the solutions architect learning path, or the architect learning path. So this path is designed for solutions architect and solution design engineers and anyone who wants to learn how to design an application and system on AWS. So in this, it's designed for those who have some experience in designing distributed applications. You will need to demonstrate your ability to design, manage, and implement applications using tools and services on the AWS platform. So it will cover the network technologies and how they work in AWS. Also, AWS-based applications, how they work, and how client interfaces connect to the AWS platform. Also, how to build secure and reliable applications on the AWS platform, and then deploying the hybrid systems, those with an on-premises data center and AWS components. So this certification is of around 130 minutes, and it's multiple choice questions. And not just that, it will help you build your technical skills as you progress along the path towards the certification. Then the next we have is the developers learning path. So this one is designed for software developers who wants to learn how to develop cloud applications on AWS. So the associate exam is all about developing and maintaining AWS-based applications, and you will need to know how to write actual code that uses AWS software to access AWS applications from within your customer's business application, from your custom business application. This certification covers your understanding of basic AWS architecture and the core of AWS services. This examination is around of 80 minutes, and this one is also MCQ based as well as multiple answer based. Also, this certification will test your knowledge or experience in designing, developing, deploying, and maintaining services or applications. and then working knowledge of applications that utilize key AWS services, such as the AWS databases, notifications, workflow services, and services for storage and change management services. Then finally, we have the operations learning path. So this is designed for sysops administrators, system administrators, as well as those who are in a developer role. So in this, you will have to learn how to create automatable and repeatable deployment of applications network and systems on the platform. And to tell you, this is the only certification that is fully geared towards system administrators. And passing this exam requires both technical expertise as well as your conceptual knowledge of the operational aspects of the AWS platform. This is of around 80 minutes. This is the same as the architect one. The developers one. So it's going to have MCQ questions as well as multiple answer based questions. And this certification is it mainly covers your deployment applications in the platform and sending and receiving data between data centers and AWS. So selecting the appropriate AWS services to meet an organization's need is what you would be supposed to do. And then the obvious ones, that is the provisioning, managing, and securing systems in an AWS environment. So these were different role-based learning path for AWS certification. And to sum up the whole AWS part, the benefits of the AWS certifications that I would mention are: you can learn at your own pace. Obviously, there are tons of resources that are available on the internet, on the YouTube, or on the AWS training and certification website as well, that you can use to learn and get ready for the examination. You can pick your own learning path. Yes. So what that means is, once you have cleared the certification, the cloud practitioner one, you can select which one to use, which one to go, like in whether you want to go in the architect one, whether you want to go in the developer role or the operational role. So you can select them according to your skills, your knowledge that you have. You can select your own path, and then you can go on the resources that are available, and you can get ready for further certifications as well. Also, it's a very good skill to have and to mention in your resumes. Your resume is going to stand out from others if you have this certification in there. And it also enhances your credibility with an industry recognized credential. So these are just some of the benefits out of the many. And it will definitely help you boost your career, and it will add to your resume and help you stand out of the crowd. So yeah, this was all about the AWS certification path. You can select which one you want by just going through the path, which one is which for whom, and you can select your one. So that's from our side.
Thank you, Vaishali, for this explaining this pathway to AWS certification. Now we are, it's a Q&A time. We are open to all your questions and queries. Please type it in chat box and we'll answer it one by one.
Okay, so we have a question. This is, you can see the question. Hello.
Yes. Should we exit
Yes,
this?
it's there. So the question is, how could you differentiate Google Cloud Platform against AWS and IBM Cloud? I mean the features, services, and the worth of graduating from one of the cloud vendors. So, Pranav, do you want to take this question or should I go with it?
I want to say in the services case that AWS is the oldest one cloud service provider, and many of the companies are using it. Most of the companies are using it, and it's very quite it is in the market for quite some time now compared to Google Cloud and IBM Cloud. And when it comes to services, AWS offers 200 plus services, which is the most in the market. And on the other hand, Google Cloud offers around 60 plus services, and Azure offers around 100 plus services. Same as goes with IBM Cloud. It offers around 60 plus services, and
Yeah,
service
so
offerings. Okay.
yeah, so
Yeah.
to this I would add that it's about the market performance. Market performance is the one factor that impacts this whole Google provider thing. So AWS had the head start, so they obviously had some preference in that. And to add on to that, various big organizations, like I've mentioned, the Netflix, Twitch, they all are using the AWS. So it depends what type of feature an organization needs and how you want to pay them are the things that impact as well.
And Google Cloud and these all the Google Cloud computing services, as I told in my previous slides, that infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service, and serverless computing. These all services are offered by all of these cloud service providers: AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and IBM Cloud. And all these cloud service providers offer major of the databases services, which is very important service in cloud computing. Also storage services, all of them, all the major storage services are offered, and all major networking services are offered. So all your major tasks which you have to do is all the major services are offered by the all of the almost all of the cloud services providers, and AWS and GCP and IBM Cloud offers all of them. You get the edge of some other uh, services which are not on GCP but are on AWS.
Okay, thank you, sir. I think Mumin has got his answers. So let's proceed further. And so you do not have any questions more.
Okay. Do we have to wait for some time? Wait for questions or?
Okay.
If you have any queries, guys, ask. We are here to answer you. Okay, so now there are no more questions. So
Should we move forward?
yeah, we should.
So you can connect with us on our Telegram page. You have to just scan this QR code, and you will get to our Telegram page, and you can connect with us. We post daily. We post all the updates on that Telegram page, and we clear your doubts as well if you ask to in our Telegram page.
Okay, so we have two more questions now. Let's wait. Let's take them one by one. So, who is going with this?
So
Guys,
okay,
you can
there's
see the
one question. I'll read it out. The prerequisites to start cloud computing.
Prerequisites, I would say you should have the basic knowledge of programming skills, because you have to, if you are working on a terminal, or you can or any terminal of C++, Python, or a Unix terminal, you have some basic, you have some knowledge, because without that you can't, it's of no use. You have to write some code and act. So you have to have basic programming skills. Also, you have to have familiarity with databases, how to work with databases, and you should have basics of security and privacy, and you should have basic knowledge of networking and familiarity with operating systems, and I think that's it. Anything you want to add, Vishali?
Yeah, so the programming part is correct. So, for example, even if you launch an instance on the cloud platform, if it's a Linux one, so you should know the basic programming. So you should know how things work in Linux terminal. So the programming part is very much important, and then it depends on different domains, which one you select. As I've mentioned, the sysops one requires technical expertise and conceptual knowledge, and the developers one requires your designing knowledge for software, how to develop cloud applications and all those. So once you have chosen your path, then you can go dive into the
Yes,
other things.
because as we said in the start, that cloud service providers just a web browser where you get all the services in the form of which you are setting up on physically, like infrastructure, softwares, and databases which you are setting up and you are working on them. But on cloud computing is just a web browser with all these services. So you have to apply your skill to work on the databases and programming knowledge and your networking and all that stuff. You're working in a way more efficient and a more easy way. Your time is getting reduced by working on cloud computing, and because of setting up all that stuff, infrastructure and configuring, your time is getting very reduced, but you have to work on that.
Okay,
Also,
so we
to
have
this,
one more question from Momin. Okay, go with it.
yeah. So I was saying that you should start with one cloud service provider. You should go through one particular, and then it's quite easy to move on to the other ones. So if you start with Google Cloud Platform, you should know how it works and all, and then you can move on to further cloud providers like the AWS one, the Azure one, IBM, for example. Start with one and then move on to others.
Okay, so we have one more question from Momin. Here it is.
Will it work to follow the AWS courses one by one, or complete one course and gain some experience and follow the other ones? Vaishali, you want to answer
Okay.
this?
Yeah, sure. So I would say that go through all the online resources that are available. Firstly, through YouTube or any media that you use. Go through the lectures that are provided there, or learn about AWS, for example. Go through the questions that are asked in the practitioner certification exam. So you will have a basic knowledge through those. And once you have gained some knowledge, you should take the certification exam, because I have experienced this myself. When you're preparing or when you're learning this thing, it's very difficult to grade yourself. For example, yes, I have studied this much, but I don't know whether the knowledge that I have is sufficient or not. So for that, you should take the certification exam. It tells you that yes, you have this much knowledge about AWS or any other thing. And then once you have the basic knowledge, once you have cleared the basic certification, then you should move on to the other courses, the architect one, or the developers one, the sysops one. You should move on one by one.
Also, it adds very it makes your resume more valuable. If you add you are certified in AWS, you have AWS certification or GCP certifications, it adds more depth to your resume. And companies nowadays more focus more on certifications. If you have any of the AWS certifications or Google Cloud Platform certifications, you get the more weightage to be selected.
Yeah, also, if you go through the training and certification website of AWS, you will see that they have laid out very nicely. They have laid out every certification courses. So they have the foundational level one. If you go inside that, you will see all the practice exams, practice test, the white papers that are available. Go through them. Then they also have the associate level one, the professional level one, the specialty level one. So go through one, complete one, then move on to the next, then complete, and then move on to the third, and so on.
Okay, nice. So we can proceed further.
Okay.
You do not have any questions now?
So you can connect with us on our different social media pages, like on LinkedIn and on Instagram, and as well as on YouTube. Get or subscribe to our YouTube channel, and because we do events regularly.
Yeah, so that's all for today. Thank you guys. It was great having you, and we'll bring our session to the end. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.